a super secret location deep within the mountains of Colorado, it's time to strap up, strap in, or strap on with your host, Shenanigans in One Shot. It's From the Ashes Radio!
So my favorite part of that is far and away the game show music that he added to it.
Absolutely.
That is the best part of the whole intro that Phil created. Look at you sliding into home plate just as the music is stopped.
Here we go.
It's awesome, dude.
Welcome to About Face Radio and the From the Ashes show with my amazing hetero life mate, Robert Shenanigans Williams. I am One Shot Seth.
And I'm obviously Rob. So what's up, party people? How the heck are you? Hey, man, how was your weekend?
My weekend was, I feel like kind of uneventful.
That's good though, right?
Yeah, but it was good. It was good. Did some jiu-jitsu, watched some UFC, played around the ranch a little bit. What about you? What'd you do?
I worked all weekend at the International Sportsman's Expo with the guys and the girls, with the team from Hunt, Lift, Eat. Yes. So great people, love them. Had a really, really, really good time with them. It was a lot of fun. So I'm trying to make sure I'm on the correct page to see comments and stuff. We got a full plate. We got Nick Burney on there. Crystal Roden-Baga. I never heard of her. Mike Boyles, what's up? Hello from Central Florida, retired Navy of 21 years. Mike, thanks for listening to the show, man. It's glad to have you as a part of it. What Up Hookers by Birdie.
Wow.
All right, folks. Check it out. So I worked my tail off all weekend hanging out with the folks from Hunt, Lift, Eat. If you are not familiar with them, you absolutely should be. First of all, they have an amazing podcast, but their gear is even better. If you're a hunter, even if you're not a hunter. So, hunt. As you know, I am not very good at that, but I do enjoy it. Lift. I am also not very good at that, but I do enjoy it.
Extremely good at it.
Now, when we get to eat, man, I am winning. Give me the medal hanging on my chest. I am semi-pro. But one of the things I got, they gave us a sweet sticker. It says vegans skip leg day. And it's true. Vegans, nobody likes you folks. Shut up about it. So yeah, I'll bet you want this sticker. And I want to give you this sticker. So send us a screenshot, text, Facebook, send us in Messenger, however you want to, that shows that you follow Hunt, Lift, Eat or the Hunt, Lift, Eat official podcast. Send us a screenshot of you following them. And if we have it even after the show is over. And I will hook you up with a vegan skip leg day sticker from our friends at Hunt, Lift, Eat.
I'll be honest, I'm a big fan of their stickers.
Which says a lot from you because you're not a sticker guy.
I am a sticker guy on my water bottles, and I like a couple of very specific ones on my car.
Yeah.
But there is some privilege to hosting the show with you.
What's that?
There were 2 stickers.
There were, in fact, 2 stickers. And you can tell them what the other ones
have one available.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is what was it? Fuck kale, eat meat.
That's right.
That's what it was. Yeah. Pretty great.
I wanted to tell you, I got a text message from a listener who we know and love, Stack.
Okay.
Who says he is starting jiu-jitsu tomorrow night. I know, right? It's kind of awesome, isn't it? I love that our listeners are like, man, if those 2 train wrecks can get through a class, I should be able to. So yeah, we are huge fans of our friends. Anybody getting started with jiu-jitsu, can't listen much today, send me the minutes. I absolutely will. Behave and tell us a story. I will not. You can't make me.
No, and yes.
But yeah, so I love that the people that listen to the show, and that's what we're all about here is getting you the resources available. So go, if you're thinking about starting jiu-jitsu, go check out the We Defy Foundation, who we absolutely adore, and go check out the Ronin Foundation, both of which we have had on this show at one point or another, and they will get you a scholarship and get you started on jiu-jitsu. So,
yes, you know what? There's also Adopt a Cop BJJ, because we like to talk to our law enforcement community also. So if you're law enforcement, which I encourage them strongly more than anybody else to do jiu-jitsu, please.
Yeah,
It will save your life
literally.
daily.
You will go home to your family.
It will also save other people's lives because you can control situations so much more effectively without you or your
one shot
suspect being injured.
What if I want to do Krav Maga instead?
Well, if you just want to just smash on people, and
I do.
groin kicks.
But why can't Joe Rogan started with Taekwondo?
Yeah, but he Taekwondo. I started with Taekwondo.
Did you really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I started dude. I'm a lifelong martial artist. I started Taekwondo when I was like 4 years old.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did years of it.
I have no idea.
I slowly progressed through my martial art where I was traditional punchy, kicky the air, Taekwondo, into karate, sport karate, kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu. And I haven't gone back to, I've gone back to obviously boxing and kickboxing, but I've never left jiu-jitsu since I found it.
Stack says he's doing it because he wants something to do with his boys, which I think is excellent.
You know what? That is something for those of you out there who don't realize or don't know this, but I'm the co-owner of an academy and a head coach of an academy.
You are?
I am. Imagine that. I commonly have parents come in and bring their kid in. I'm like, you know what's really great for the family? Like, I'm not trying to just sell more memberships. I'm like, is when your kid is inspired to keep coming and keep training and getting that I'm not going to quit when dad's doing it or mom's doing it. And then also all of a sudden, maybe you're going to a tournament and dad or mom's competing and kids are competing, or you're sitting at home watching TV and your kid's like, hey, I learned this really cool thing in jiu-jitsu. And they're like, oh, I don't understand what you're choking me.
Yeah.
It's really cool when families do it together. My entire family trains. My wife trains. My kid trains.
I'm pretty sure most of the dogs do. They may not tell you that they do, but they do.
My cat's definitely.
Yeah. Carol?
Carol's a savage.
I've seen. I know for a fact those two bulldogs at the super secret location do.
Oh, the bulldogs definitely jiu-jitsu it up.
Oh, look at that. Families that train together, stay together. Stephanie Cox is watching. Welcome to it, Stephanie. Adrian and Khalad is watching. Sorry, I know I'm gonna mess up your name, Adrian. I apologize. Thank you all very much for being a part of the show tonight. We really appreciate it. Since you brought up the adopt a cop thing, there's a particular police officer that is looking for adoption right now.
So we started our private Carl segment. Bit. Okay.
Which we want to hear from you. If you have a private Carl moment, please send it our way.
I like it to be not from 10 years ago. Okay. I mean, maybe there's something that's been forgotten that happened 10 years ago, but somewhat relevant to what's going on today. And this week started with, I saw this really funny meme where, it had the picture of somebody's Jeep, and on the rear windshield wiper had I have your license plate number. Come see me, Command Sergeant Major.
Yes, Sergeant Major.
Yeah. How many times have you seen that actually happen? More than once, right?
Yes.
Where there's a note on your.
And it's always a specialist. It is always a specialist.
Yeah.
It's never an E3. It's never a PFC. It's always an E4. Or in the Marine Corps, I guess you call them Lance Corporals. I'm not positive.
Yeah, well, at E4, they feel like they know how to get away with things, but they're no better than a private at getting away with things. So anyway, this week, I posted that almost to excite everybody for this week's, but since I did last week's, Rob found this amazing one in the law enforcement community. Would you care to preview us for those of us
if you haven't heard? I'm not sure where you live that you have not heard, but let's see here. I love this. A Tennessee police department was in turmoil on Tuesday. Turmoil. Oh no. Following allegations that at least 5 of its male officers had sex with a female officer, both on and off the job. Oh no.
They were getting into a lot more than turmoil.
Yeah, that's a lot of turmoil right there. So far, 5 officers have been fired and 3 more suspended without pay. Without pay, as officials in the Nashville suburbs of Laverne investigate the allegations against the 60-person police department, Mayor Jason Cole said, the situation is unacceptable. And as soon as it was brought to our attention, it was immediately investigated and taken upon individuals involved. Our top priority moving forward will be rebuilding the public's trust. Long story short, yeah, they were getting it on, dog. They were getting it on good.
A comical. The part that just really almost impressed me was the on-duty part. Like, we're a 60-person department. For those of you who don't know, a 60-person department is very small.
Very small.
Very small. So we're talking, we're bored in a small town. Let's hop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think it through, the engineering behind it is just astronomical. The belt, the gear, the body armor. I mean, yeah. How did you get that done? I mean, I wouldn't want to take all that.
There's a way.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I wonder if they used the front seat or the suspect seat.
Icky. That's just gross. That's a great question. Now I'm interested too. Hopefully it was the hood.
Well, here's the thing: the suspect section is commonly needs to be hosed out, so it's prepared for bodily fluids.
Icky.
Am I adding to this?
Oh God, that's.
So our private Carl moment of the evening is actually an amazing police officer that was willing to go the extra mile for her.
26 years working in ambulances. I never once had sex in an ambulance.
Really?
Nope, not once. I know of a lot of people that did. Particularly people that, while having a really good time, somehow someone's foot stepped on the microphone and they managed to broadcast it across all of American Medical Response Hartford Division, which was awesome because the dispatcher tried to go, hot mic, you have a hot mic, and all you hear is this chick screaming at the top of her lungs. Like, wow, I hope she's having a good time.
Great.
So yeah, no, because it's gross, man. I'm not icky. There's like fluids.
There's like hot places to do it.
Yeah, an ambulance and a cop car,
not there.
What about a fire truck? I'm down with a fire truck. I'm totally down with a fire truck. I bet I could talk Sandy into it too. Now I have a goal.
I'm so lucky she doesn't regularly.
I have a goal now. Chris, hey, my buddy Chris Dudley, if you're listening, I need to borrow your engine for a couple of days. Maybe just a day. So and he's the firehouse right around the corner from our house.
Oh man.
So look, man, I'm gonna need you to pull to staff duty. Jory Magruder is listening. Josh Ader. Hey folks, thanks for listening to the show. Appreciate you being here. You wouldn't do it in a fire truck? No?
Just not.
Have you not seen what's that movie where they do it on top of the fire truck?
No.
It's a good movie. Oh, Backdraft.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, when it hits that shit like a drunk driver on top of the
I've thought
truck.
about that movie a long time. That was like 80s, right?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Great flick. No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a Humvee and a Black Hawk and a Chinook and, a C-130. I checked all those boxes. Barracks,
Barracks is another one.
I didn't check any of the boxes. But,
No, I get you. you knew the truth. You were at church. I get it. What do you call it? So that's funny that you say that like that because so obviously I worked in FLAs once or twice, the Army ambulances. Well, at the Sportsman's Expo, they're now taking those and turning them into like adventure vehicles.
Yes.
And you're like, yeah, it's got like a kitchen in it and shit. I'm like, man, if you only knew the things that happen in the back of this vehicle, you would not want it. You would not be purchasing this vehicle. Yeah. So yeah. Hey folks, I want to hear it. Did you get someplace good? Let's hear it. Are you following the footsteps of the Levert? Barracks whores were the best. How dare you? Apparently, our listeners have an agenda.
You also called us whores earlier.
That's
and
true.
I was slightly offended because
I am not a barracks whore.
Or not offended necessarily. I'm upset that I never got paid. Like my services are top notch. Yeah. I should have been making that amazing, top dollar rate.
Yes. So tonight on the show, we have our friends from the MVGA podcast, Make Veterans Great Again. I'm really looking forward to talking to Josh from the MVGA podcast. I'd really like to hear it. If you haven't heard his podcast, you're going to love it. Allie sent a text to me during the day today. She would like to have some extra time because apparently she's got some good news for us. I have no idea.
I know. You know what? I have had so much stuff to give her things to talk about today, and now I'm gonna
Now we got to give her the extra
I'm not
time.
going to tell her no. I'll say she gets the yep tonight.
Yeah, exactly. What were you
So-
going to talk to her about?
My amazing last week with the VA.
You don't hear stories like this very often.
Oh, do you want to hear about it?
I
How
do.
much time do we have to bring these guys on?
Oh, we're a minute over.
Well, let's bring them on. Nobody wants to hear my crap.
All right. So let's talk to Josh real quick. Oh, and Allie's already in the waiting room also.
She is.
All right, here we go, folks. So Josh from Make Veterans Great Again. Josh, how the heck are you, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Man, I'm better now that you're here. How's it going?
I feel the same way. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you perfectly fine. How about me? Lima Charlie, how me?
You sound great. What's that?
I said Lima Charlie, how me?
Yeah, same.
All right.
Rod, you're bringing back a lot of memories, not all of them good.
Well, we're here to talk about it, right? You got to get through it.
Right? So, all right, man. So let's hear it. So Make Veterans Great Again. I assume it's because you're a work for Donald Trump's campaign staff, and yeah. Tell me about
Actually, it's all a marketing scheme. And if you're offended, good. I'm fucking glad because I'm offended about the veteran suicide rate, right? Like 22 veterans per day with a new report by Operation Deep Dive saying that it's 44 veterans per day that take their life. So my podcast, MVGA, which stands for Make Veterans Great Again, I reach out to fellow brothers and sisters in arms to conquer our mental health together and just remind everybody that they're not alone, that we all have our struggles and we all suffer.
What branch of service were you, Josh?
I was in the Marine Corps,
How long were you in for?
4 years from 13 to 17.
East Coast or West Coast Marine?
What?
I said, are you an East Coast or a West Coast Marine?
I'm a West Coast Marine.
Nice. Well, my brother-in-law is a Marine, so I get you. Well, tell us about MVGA. When did it start?
It started about 2 years ago, and honestly, I got tagged in. You remember the 22 push-up challenge that goes around social media? I got tagged in that, but I just had shoulder surgery, and there's no way I was going to be doing 22 push-ups for 22 days, and I started to feel guilty about it. And then a buddy of mine posted a meme that said, "Stop doing your fucking push-ups, pick up the phone and call a buddy." So the idea came to mind to start the podcast. I originally didn't want to do it myself, and I reached out to other people, and they all had like their reasons or excuses not to do it. And then I was like, if not me, then who, right? So it's actually my therapist's fault. She pretty much tried to force me to go Facebook Live in her office one day when I told her about the idea, to let everybody know that I was going to start the podcast, to make sure I started. And I was like, there's no way I can't do that shit. So I went home and recorded a video and then posted it that way. But my therapist strong-armed me, and here we are 2 years later, still going.
That's an awesome therapist right there.
Can I get?
That's my kind of therapist.
Dude, I will share. I love my therapist. She's amazing. So I'll share her information with you all day.
Well, and I like what you just did there too. You pointed out that, hey, you do attend therapy and you are very comfortable with letting people know. And I really like that. Well done to you.
I fully support therapy, especially if you're on medication, or even if you're not on medication, it doesn't matter. But if you're taking mental health medication, it's just a fucking Band-Aid, and nothing's going to heal underneath it unless you do the actual work. And then there's two differences to me that I realized for myself about going to therapy. There's going to therapy and doing the work going to therapy. Because for a long time, my therapist would send me home with homework, and I'd leave that shit in the car, put it in my closet. I wouldn't do any of it. And I was like, man, therapy's not really working, but it feels good to talk to somebody, but it's just not working. That's because I wasn't working. So I recently realized that. And I'm like, a lot of it has to do with my ego and pride, right? Like, you don't want to look like a bitch to anybody. And like your therapist, that's who you're supposed to look like that in front of, right? So they can help you through all those emotions. And I was giving the surface value. And I finally dug deep enough and like started to dig deeper and unlock doors and memories that I've had blocked out for a long time. But yeah, I'm pro therapy.
Yeah, we as well, and we are too here. We're advocates for it. But what we have, and sometimes you got to find the right fit though. Like I had one when I got started, and she's like, "Well, what color does this make you feel?" What? Sorry. Yeah. So long as it's not, needless to say, that didn't work out so well. But when you find the right one and you find somebody so I work with the Headstrong Project, and I'm a huge fan and a huge advocate for them. They deal with patients with veterans with TBIs, and so you're talking to them, and they're all about the TBI and how all that stuff connects and overlaps, and it's excellent. You just cracked open a beer, didn't you?
No, I actually quit drinking January 1st, but
January 1st this year?
yeah. So I quit in like 2018. Then I started the fucking podcast in 2020. And I am not a social person at first. So I started to drink again. And then it's just New Year's Eve. I didn't intend to go out. I carried the flag onto the field for the Fiesta Bowl. I was able to volunteer for that. And then I saw them drinking in the parking lot, like, damn, dude, that looks like so much fun. After the game, I went out and had a few drinks, and I just woke up and I was depressed for like 2 solid days. And I was ready to throw in the towel on the podcast and just live life on the couch, like not lifting an extra feet. I just didn't care anymore. And the more I realized it's the drinking. I didn't black out, but I drank enough that it caused me mental health issues. So like, what's the point in drinking if it's going to cause depression for the next 2 days or so? So like, I've been trying to pull myself out of that, but thankfully I'm on the other side of that for now. No, there's going to be another struggle, but that's life.
It is definitely a struggle. And I was like really hyped into where you're saying you have to put in the work. And I'm sober and Rob's sober.
Okay.
And you know what? For me to get sober, I had to put in the work. It wasn't just like, I'm not going to drink today. I had to put in some work to be healthy and being sober. So I agree with that in therapy and pretty much anything you do. You have to put in the work to get anything good out of anything, but especially therapy. So anyway, that's awesome, especially with the amount of veteran law enforcement, fire, all of the amount of alcoholism that is so destructive to their recovery from TBI and PTSD and all these different things. And, I don't know of anybody that's ever blown their brains out sober. Now, I do know a lot of people that have committed suicide, but I mean, that triggers a whole hell of a lot harder to pull sober than it is twisted. So I commend you for that. It's cool. And it's good that you're in the community, in the face of the community, running a podcast and saying that, hey, there is another way. So
yeah,
cool.
Honestly, I'm trying to, like, I guess for lack of better words, expose myself, like all my flaws, all my imperfections, because this podcast, I say it all the time, is not only helping everybody that's listening, but it's helping me more, because I'm able to, the more you talk about a pain and a trauma, the duller it gets, or at least that's what I'm recognizing for myself. And so it's just like, I just want to lead by example. I want to be a good role model for people. I have kids. I want them to see, like, it may not be easy to do the right thing, but doing the right thing's best case scenario, and it's going to work out for you in the long run.
Man, you are our people, man.
I was just going to say, you fit into this circle real well.
I may have a position for you after this show is over.
I got a Sharpie, so it better be permanent. I'm ready to sign.
I love how vocal and open you are about it. Like, hey, that I had never thought that through. I don't know of anyone that's taken their life while sober. That is a powerful statement right there.
I have a question for you guys.
Hit me.
So with being sober, right, does that include medical marijuana?
No.
Okay.
So I talk to a lot of different people in different forms of sobriety. I know some that their sobriety does include green stuff. I know that I don't really like smoking pot. I think I told you about this, but when I had knee surgery last year, and I had to really think about it, but I was like, am I gonna, like, I was like, I'm gonna go get a pen, and smoke it a little bit here and there in my first week or two of recovery from the knee, so I can, like, kind of just zonk out a little bit. And I did. I totally got one, and I totally hit it a couple times, and that thing is still sitting upstairs on my counter.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it that much. But I believe that true sobriety is nothing. But I don't think that a couple of the people that run the most amazing program of society or sobriety smoke weed. Okay, I'm not going to categorize whether it's medical or recreation. What the fuck?
Yeah, we live in Colorado, so
either way,
right.
Incredibly healthy with their addiction, still smoke pot. So
what are your thoughts on it, Josh?
Well, I smoke still, so that's my thought. But I was just curious on, like, what other people, especially other people that have been sober for a period of time, like, how do you feel about it? Like, because I feel like it's almost situation dictates. Like, is smoking weed going to cause you to end up drinking? Like, is it going to be your gateway drug, or are you going to be strong enough not to want anything else? And like, I don't have the problem where I crave a beer. I just told you a story where it sounded like I did, right? But like, I'm not drinking all the time, or I wasn't drinking all the time. My problem is control. I like to say I was like Pringles. Like, once you pop, you don't stop until you're waking up with regret, remorse, and all the shit that comes with it.
That was a good analogy.
Yeah, I do like that.
Describer.
We have a friend who is listening to the show right now, and what do you call it? He uses the term California sober, which I had never heard that before. So yeah, it doesn't drink alcohol, but does imbibe.
Right. And my other thought on that is, like, when was the last time that you heard a Marine burn down a bar because he got too high? Right? Never.
Yeah. So our friend Dana Miller, who is a longtime listener to the show, my sister is a recovering addict and she smokes weed. I think as long as it's not interfering with your life, it's not a problem, and that is just my 2 cents. Dana, you and I are on the same page, especially in the veteran community, because a lot of people like it to use it for a sleep aid, B, controlling pain, or chronic pain, or something to that extent. So, hey, I'm an advocate.
I'm much more supportive of somebody smoking a little weed to go to sleep than the giant bag of bottles I have from the VA to go to sleep of things that they give
right.
Like, there's no comparison in what's going to be long-term healthier. So I don't overthink it too much.
Absolutely. This is semi-related to like weed, but not. But like, I also feel like when it comes to therapy, I don't care what you try, right? There's not a one-shoe-fits-all therapy for everybody. Some people need to go be with horses. Some people need to see a traditional therapist. Some people need to go do ketamine and all those other psychedelic drugs, right? I feel like as long as you're doing it the responsible, respectful way in a program, why not do it? Especially if you're willing to put a gun to your mouth and eat the bullet. Why aren't you willing to eat a little ayahuasca beforehand to even see if you could pull yourself out of what you're into? Like, give it everything you got before you give up.
Have you tried the ketamine therapy?
I have not.
So we have a listener to the show who owns what's called Clarisana, and they're in a couple different states. I'm not sure what state you're in, so I wouldn't know.
Arizona.
They may be, I'm not sure, but look them up if you get a chance. But it is totally worth it. It is excellent, and he is a veteran himself, which is why he started it. He's a former SF doc, and yeah, that's why he started the clinic. And he's done amazing things to help veterans. It's a huge help.
What was the name of it again?
Clarisana. I can text it to you later when we're done.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
I'll connect you with him if you'd like, just so you can have him on the show.
Yeah, I'd love that, and I'd love to have you guys both on the show if you were interested.
Absolutely, we're always happy to go. We'll talk to anybody.
We don't really ever say no to.
We have a
good.
That what do you call it? I use CBD gummies with no THC to help sleep, so I can get the nightmares to slow down and not be so intense. Yeah, I exactly right. I can get behind that. I was a nightmare guy for a long time, so yeah, I get that, listener. I'm down with what you're saying. Josh, tell us a little bit more about MVGA. What does the future look like? What's on the horizon for 2023?
Well, starting tomorrow, actually, I go and sign a contract to be in this Arizona Tech Accelerator program, where I have a co-op office with whoever else is in there, and there's a whole bunch of mentors throughout the building, and they mentor you for free. There's a podcast studio that I'll be able to use, so I'm excited for that. And then, like, long-term goal, I want to start a foundation and become the next version of the VFW, but for this generation. I don't just mean this generation, but for everybody, but more fitting for us right now, if that makes sense.
We just had an appointment with VFW Post One. They're looking to start their own podcast. So VFW Post One, if you look them up, they don't have a bar in there. The whole VFW Post is an art gallery. And so they're all about the art of veterans. And so one of the things they want to add to that repertoire is they want to start doing podcasting and radio and let veterans express themselves that way. So yeah, good things on the horizon. So you're leading a charge right now, whether you realize it or not.
I know I'm going to be the veteran Joe Rogan, but better, just so you know. You can get my autograph later.
Well, I look forward to seeing you in the ring announcing fucker, man.
I meant podcast wise. He can do all that shit. Like I said, I don't really like being in front of the camera, but I'm willing to do it because somebody has to, right? Like there's a whole bunch of different missions out there and we're all doing great things, but nobody's doing it quite like me. So I can reach a different niche of veterans or just a different group of individuals altogether.
Huh. I wonder what happened. For some reason, we are off the air.
Yeah, I'm that boring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What just happened?
I don't know.
Are we still recording at least?
We are. So yeah, we're gonna keep going with it. Whatever, man. I have no idea what just happened, but hey, doing good stuff. So yeah, I wonder if it was what we were talking about was why.
Oh,
No.
like the different medications you could take.
We're
Yeah,
back.
mine has said live the whole time.
Yeah, we're back up now. You're okay.
Well, it said live, but we literally like all over it. Listeners went to 0 and then came back. That's weird.
Whatever, man.
Okay.
We'll get through this. In the meantime, Josh, how can people find you? So people, what platforms are you on?
Mainly on if you want to reach me directly and communicate with me, I am most active on Instagram, and my tag is make_veterans_great_again. My website is makeveteransgreatagain.org. You can email me at mvgapodcast@gmail.com and just reach out. I'm on all streaming sources. Just search MVGA Podcast, or you can go to mvga.buzzsprout.com. That's the host website I use for my podcast, but you can listen to all the episodes there.
Excellent. What do you call it? What else? I'll tell you what. I'm gonna do this for you. Since we're at 6:33 p.m., take the next 2 minutes.
Okay.
The floor is yours. Talk about whatever you want. I may have glossed over a question that you didn't get. I may have skipped over something you wanted to talk about that I didn't give you the question. I may have, we may have just completely glossed over something that you wanted to spend some more time on.
I do this to everybody. I say, do you have any saved rounds, anything I missed? And now being on the other side of the gun, I fucking hate that. But no, honestly, if you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out. Like whether you reach out and pretend that you're just reaching out to talk to your buddy for them, do it. Like, cause you never know who's truly hurting. Like the person that's smiling the most is the one that could potentially be struggling the most behind closed doors. You just never know what's happening in anybody's life. So don't hesitate to reach out to your fellow brothers and sisters, friends, family, anybody like that. Don't be ashamed to go to therapy, and don't get discouraged if the first 1 to 5 therapists don't work for you, because I've gone through plenty of therapists before I found this winning therapist that I have now. And if I would have quit, who knows where I'd be right now. And if you want to know the truth, I've always taken the podcast serious, but I've increased my seriousness. I see the potential and the growth, and I just want to continue to grow, right? So within the last year, I've been doing the most. And within the last 2 months, 3 months, I would say I have all my podcasts for the year backed up already pretty much. So I'm just taking this more serious because I am doing better mentally. And it took me checking myself in. I checked myself into a facility here in Arizona, and I was in there for a week, got therapy. But the most beneficial part of that was I was just taken away from all my stressors in life. And then I got thrown back out there. About 6 months later, I ended up doing a program through the Wounded Warrior program out in Boston called Home Base. And it was a 2-week program where you did in group therapy and individual therapy every day for 2 weeks. And it was a great program. Art is a huge therapy that I never even knew would be a therapy or a therapeutic tool that I never knew it. And that's actually what drew the veterans closer together, because while we were in there, we just met each other that day or the night prior. And we had to do a project where we had a paper mache mask, and we had to, on the outside, we had to paint it like how we feel on the outside, and not paint on the inside how we feel on the inside. And a lot of us did the same thing, whether it be like red around the eyes for like the blood, the pain, but we all could relate to each other. And that didn't matter if you served 3 years active, 20 something years retired, didn't matter the branch. It just, or your stories, that everybody struggles. Like your stories could be completely different. Like my struggles, I didn't see combat. I didn't see anything like that. I struggled for a while that I was ashamed of that, right? Like I joined the Marine Corps to fight and serve my country, and I got out without going to combat, and I felt like I failed and didn't complete my mission or my goal of joining. But I'm realizing that my mission or my purpose in life wasn't to join the Marine Corps to go to combat. My purpose in life was to join the Marine Corps to fight the war at home. And that's what I'm doing now. So that's how I am changing my thought process. It is crazy how much your mind really controls you over if you allow it to. It's like I've recently got more aware with myself. And when I catch myself thinking negative, I try to verbally say the opposite in positive out loud so I can silence the inside voices.
Josh, you are a definite excellent advocate for the veteran community. You're doing great things. Keep it up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Josh with the Make Veterans Great Again podcast. Look him up on all the socials. Subscribe to his podcast. I'm guessing you're on all the platforms, Spotify, iHeart, all those.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you're listening to this right now, head over to your Spotify, crack open your favorite podcast platform, and subscribe to the Make Veterans Great Again podcast. Josh, thanks a lot for being a part of From the Ashes. And I'll look forward to talking to you more. And when I get this all edited, I'll send it to you tomorrow, bud, so you can put it on your platform.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, it was great talking to you. Have a great night.
I'm waiting for my contract, so don't forget to send that too.
You're going to hear from, don't you worry, you're going to hear from somebody.
Sounds good. Have a great day.
Have a great night. All right. I think it's time for the break.
It is.
So I can mess with some things.
Yes.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And while we're doing that, we'll figure out if there's something heartache in someplace else. So, yeah, back in a few.
I lost someone on my crew, but not on the job. The risk has always been there, even before we had a name for it. If you were struggling, you just had to suck it up and move on. But not today.
I am a mother.
A father, son,
daughter,
brother,
a sister. I am a student,
A stay-at-home mom.
construction worker,
volunteer,
I am loving.
smart.
funny,
generous.
Way too generous.
I am all of the amazing things you see.
But there's something you can't see.
or don't see.
Something that I don't let anybody see. Like when I'm alone.
In a room full of people.
You can't get out of bed.
And maybe I've gained weight.
Or lost weight.
Why do men always lose weight?
It can get dark in here.
Really dark.
Addicted to food,
The web,
Work.
sex,
Alcohol.
Something to take the pain away.
to feel happy.
To feel something.
anything. Nothing.
Because depression isn't a mood.
It's not a passing thing.
Or a bad day.
It's a disease. I can't just get over it. It feels like I'm underwater.
Drowning.
And sometimes I think you'd be better off without me.
I am telling you this. All of this.
Because I need help.
And you are my wife.
My dad.
My husband.
My kids.
My boss.
So please, don't judge me.
Leave me.
Fire me.
Please be patient.
Don't give up on me.
Just be there for as long as it takes.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't real.
You're finally back at her place for a little brown chicken brown cow when you get hit with love potion number 2.
Are you okay?
You skipped the loo before that keister kangaroo jumps out of its pouch. Now, what do you do?
Hurry up, come on. Come on, I'm on a date. This isn't happening right now.
Folks, I have no idea what is up, but on the From the Ashes Facebook page, we are not currently broadcasting. However, we are still broadcasting on our station, About Face Radio. And thank you. Was it loud?
No,
It felt pretty loud. And are still on our About Face Radio page. So yes, we are still broadcasting and you can still hear us. We are still live. It is time to bring in Allie. Allie wanted some extra time tonight. I'm kind of excited for whatever we're about to hear. There she is.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, am I good? Am I Lima Charlie right now? Yeah.
You are Lima Charlie right now. And
Okay.
I have that you're good. So yeah, keep it up.
Okay, so I have 740 people watching me on TikTok Live right now, all wanting to know what big announcement I have. So I'll be talking to you guys and TikTok. So I'm sorry for those watching on Facebook or somewhere. I'm not facing you guys directly. Same for you, TikTok. Okay, so today the VA has taken a huge step in the right direction. They announced today that starting 17 January, okay, veterans in acute suicidal crisis will be able to go to any VA or non-VA healthcare facility for emergency healthcare at no cost, okay, to include inpatient or crisis care for up to 30 days and outpatient for up to 90 days. So as it stands now, you have to be enrolled in VA healthcare. The VA said, no, that's like, we're getting rid of that. So veterans do not need to be enrolled in VA healthcare. And now because of this is from the 2020 Compact Act. This is the final policy of the Compact Act. An additional 9 million veterans now have mental health emergency care access, which they didn't have before. Okay, so you don't have to drive 2, 3, 4 hours to go to your VA emergency room, because our Midwestern folks, right, and our Southern folks, they drive a long way to get to the VA. They don't have to do that. They can walk into any civilian hospital, ER, and say, I am in mental health crisis, and the hospital will treat them and take them inpatient if needed for free. You do not even have to be enrolled in VA healthcare. You don't even have to do a 1010 EZ, okay? However, there are some stipulations, of course, right? Because this is the VA. This is the VA, right? I mean, who are we kidding, right? So I know, but this is a step in the right direction. Okay, so listen. So eligible veterans are vets who discharged after more than 24 months of active service. Okay, if you have a dishonorable discharge, I'm sorry, you've already lost all your benefits, including your veteran status. So I don't want to hear, well, what if I have an OTH? What if I have a bad conduct? If you have a dishonorable discharge, you are no longer considered a veteran. You have lost all your benefits, including this. Okay, so if you have anything other than a dishonorable and you served at least 24 months on active duty, you can go and do everything I just said. Okay. Other veterans are vets who served more than 100 days under a combat exclusion or in support of a contingency operation. So these are my National Guardsmen. These are my reservists. Okay. 100 days in a combat situation under combat orders, that this applies to you. Okay. Go to the VA, go to your local emergency room. You do not have to be enrolled in VA healthcare. Okay. The only thing is you cannot have a dishonorable discharge. Okay. If you have a dishonorable discharge, again, you lose all your benefits, you forfeit your benefits, you actually lose the right to be called a veteran. So don't come at me and say, hey, listen, I have an OTH. I don't care. If you have an OTH, you can still go be seen. You can be seen at the VA healthcare, because now with under the couple laws that were changed, if you have an OTH and you need mental health, the VA will treat you for mental health. So people are asking, oh my God, I missed the announcement. Okay, so I'm going to say this again. As of January 17th, veterans in acute suicidal crisis will be able to go to any VA or non-VA healthcare facility for emergency healthcare at no cost, to include inpatient or crisis residential care for up to 30 days and outpatient care for up to 90 days. Veterans do not need to be enrolled in VA healthcare. 9 million veterans now have mental health emergency care access. And this is because, again, of the 2020 Compact Act. This is the final policy of the Compact Act. And also it will provide and pay for or reimburse for treatment of eligible vets. It'll make referrals for additional care, and it'll determine eligibility for other VA services. A veteran, you have to have served 24 months on active duty or 100 days under a combat exclusion or in support of a contingency operation. National Guardsmen, reservists, that's for you. So no more excuses. There are no more freaking excuses as to why you cannot go and get help, because the VA just made it. I'm going to say it, boys. I'm going to say it, and you can beep it afterwards. The VA just now made it fucking free, okay? It is fucking free to go get you some mental health care, okay? If you are in crisis, you can also dial, was it 988? I haven't even called that number. I should call it as a VSO. I should call that number, right? 988, press 1. Go to the hospital, you guys. 30 days inpatient if you need it for free. 90 days outpatient if you need it for free. Fucking free. Free.
Well, I know the people listening on TikTok can't hear me talking. So
they can't hear you.
Repeat the question for them. Is there any identification the veteran has to give to the hospital at time of admission so they don't have to pay?
Okay, so guys on TikTok, you can't hear the host, but the question was, is there any type of identification that the veteran has to show? So therein lies the problem. So yay on the VA. However, the problem is going to come with these civilian hospitals getting on board. And civilian hospitals don't know how to read a DD-214, and not everybody has a VA card. If you're not enrolled in VA healthcare, you don't have a VA card. So what do you do?
Enroll in VA.
I don't know. Yeah, you can enroll in VA, right? It's a 1010 easy, right? VA.gov, enroll in healthcare, 1010 easy. It'll ask you a couple of questions, done. So I don't know how the VA is going to implement this, right? There should be a huge campaign, a huge nationwide campaign to these medical professionals saying, hey, listen, now it is law. The VA says that you have to take care of this veteran if they are in mental health crisis. And we've seen the TikTok videos. We've seen where veterans will walk into a VA, or I think it was a civilian hospital, where that gentleman died because they couldn't verify he was a veteran. So instead of treating him and doing triage and CPR and all this shit first and saving this guy's fucking life. They were arguing about his veteran status. Your editors are going to have a real good time in this shit.
I am our editor. You know what? I'm going to leave them all in.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Because I am like, this is what we have been fighting for so long. Give us access to care. But here's the problem now. How do we get the civilians on board? How do we get the civilians to recognize? Because I mean, we could have it on our phones, I guess, right? According to the PACT Act of 2020, this says this, and you can have the policy. But then how many nurses are going to believe you, right? If you're in a crisis, the PACT Act or the Compact Act is the last fucking thing you're going to be worried about. You want to be seen because you are fighting some shit. I know. One shot, I know, and I don't care. Fire me. You don't pay me enough.
I feel like all of those alternative methods are much more complicated than simply fucking enrolling in the VA healthcare system.
Right. You should enroll in VA healthcare system.
It's nice to have that done so that if something comes up, and it's not fucking rocket science to enroll. My dumbass has done it.
So yes, so my other host is saying enroll in VA healthcare. You're not going to lose your primary care, guys. If you already have a civilian doctor, you can use both VA healthcare and civilian. I use both. I use, like, when I go get my pap smears and all my lady shit, that's the VA. When I have, oh my God, stop it. You are married. You know how that stuff works. But if I have like a cold or I got, back pain or whatever, I go to my civilian PCP. You can have both. You're not going to lose one or the other. You can go to VA and you can go to civilian. So enroll va.gov at 1010EZ. You get your ID card. However, there is an income guideline with the 1010EZ. If you do not have a service-connected disability, the VA asks you to disclose your income. There is an income gap. I don't know what it is, but it's going to ask you for your income, your spouse's income, and if you have a child in the home who earns income. Okay. However, if you do have a service-connected disability, you do not have to disclose income. And that's even if you're at 10%. If you are at 10% for like tinnitus, whatever, you don't have to disclose your income. You're going to be at one of the lower categories, but it's still a service-connected disability, and you don't have to disclose your income. So the VA said I make too much money. Yeah, exactly, because there is an income. However, if you have a service-connected disability, okay, since the last time you applied, apply again, and you don't have to disclose your income. So I'm like relieved. I was like jumping up in joy. I'm like, holy shit, like this is a huge step in the right direction. But then the reality started to sink in. And I'm like, now what? How are we going to get our civilian doctors and our medical professionals to be on board with this? Because I don't want what happened to that one guy to happen to everybody else. They couldn't verify his veteran status, and so he died. Like, do you guys remember that? That was awful. So I don't want a veteran who is in active crisis, who's coming in hysterics and just, maybe he did have the 9mm pointed to his head, 20 minutes ago. And the last thing he's worried about is, insurance and shit. I don't want that to happen. So the VA really, really needs to step up their game. And I think they need to do just a nationwide, just heavy focus on advertising, get the top doctors or hospital managers, directors, somebody, and just blast this out internally, externally, because otherwise, what's the point, right? And I don't want veterans to have to fight for this yet again. One more thing on their plate they have to fight for. One more thing. It's like one more piece of red tape. Like, you have this 2020 Compact Act, and it's policy. It is law now. But now you got to fight with the triage lady at the ER. Well, how do I know you're a veteran? How do you know you're a veteran, right? In Massachusetts, we have veteran printed right on our driver's license. So if you're in a state that does that, maybe, when you have to re-up your driver's license, maybe fill out the form that says you're a veteran so you get it right then and there. But that is my big announcement. It's like, it's 9 million veterans will now have access to mental health and suicide crisis.
I'm glad to hear it. There's nothing but good news. Did you hear that veteran suicide rates in Alaska went down?
Went down. I want to know how they got those numbers. So according to, who was it? Who announced it? It was the Army Times?
It was 11th Airborne.
So, according to the 11th Airborne Division at Alaska, Army suicides have been down since 2020, which is fantastic. But I want to know where that number comes from. And don't forget, vehicle collisions, collisions don't count as suicide. So, even though he was going 105 miles an hour, hit the tree, never hit the brakes, it's not considered a suicide. The DOT takes that as a one vehicle collision. So, even though it's there, we know, we can speculate there's a suicide. It doesn't count as one of the 22, right? Because it wasn't apparent. So I'm really thinking the numbers are way, way higher than 22 a day. Way higher. And I've been saying it for years. And I think now they say the VA concedes that it's like 26 suicides a day. I still think it's higher than that.
We've seen numbers as high as 44 a day.
44 a day. That's fucking awful. 44 veterans a day take their own lives. And I'd love to know why. Like, if you're going to do it, can you leave us a note, please? Like, so we can have some data so we can fucking figure out how to not have a 44 a day. And now, hopefully, with this 2020 Compact Act and this new policy, maybe now there won't be 44 veterans a day taking their life, because now maybe they do have access to mental health and they can go inpatient for 30 days and you don't have to worry about it, because it says here free. It is free. They will pay up to 30 days inpatient and up to 90 days outpatient. So I can't, like, and it just breaks my heart that these veterans are in so much fucking pain that they feel the only way out, the only way to help themselves and to help everybody else is to end your own life. Like, that fucking kills me. And we're not doing enough. We will never be able to do enough. My opinion.
Allie, and ask your TikTokers this. Do you meditate before you go to bed?
Do I meditate before I go to bed? Yes, I do. Do you guys meditate? I gotta.
I feel like we get you all kinds of cranked up on this show.
You do. Oh, I don't go to bed till like. I do. I'm all cranked up. Like, every Monday nights, I get no sleep. But I do. I drink my tea. I do my wusa. I meditate. I pray. And then I try and, like, get some sleep. I kill a couple of goblins and dragons on my Empires and Puzzles game. But other than that, and then, if my boyfriend's around, I'll get a little play. But other than that, then I go to bed.
I will say one thing. I do not need to ask you this. I know you don't meditate before coming on the show.
Yeah.
No, I don't meditate. No, I do a line of coke and, I smoke some weed. No, I'm just kidding. I do not do drugs. No, I'm just so very excited. This is great news for the veteran community. However, we still got some progress.
We got things to work towards.
I know, but this is huge, right? Like, this is like the door opening. And I want to see in the next couple of weeks what happens with the civilian doctors, if how they're going to get on board, how someone is going to, do we just walk around with a DD-214 in our pocket? I mean, I do. I keep a copy of a DD-214 in my purse. I don't know why. I've never had to pull it out, but just in case. I mean, I don't know. Like, we have to figure out, or they have to figure out how this is going to be implemented. But it's a step in the right direction. The VA is doing the right thing. Thank you to the 2020 Compact Act. This is the final policy of the 2020 Act. So, and then we got the PACT Act. Of course, they have started already rating and looking at and developing PACT Act claims. People have been applying before they even started looking at them, and started looking at them January 1st. So there's already like 100 and something thousand PACT Act claims. So if you filed for PACT Act, you're gonna be waiting a while. Okay, don't ask me, TikTok. Don't ask me how long it's gonna take. I can't tell you. Nobody can tell you, because you don't like there's so many revolving pieces. There's so many moving parts that it's impossible to tell you, to give you an accurate answer on when your claim is going to be decided. Emergency medical care, or I missed it. Is there any identification? Oh gosh, or emergency medical care, or emergency medical care, or both. Emergency mental health. This is if you are in suicidal crisis.
All right, Allie. Well, thank you so much for that. We're about to hit that minute on time, but right before I'm going to say,
I got you guys.
I got one last thing. I think we all know there's one person out there that doesn't carry their DD214 with them.
Wait, what? I missed it. What about the DD2 for what? Are you wait, is this an instant joke? Did I miss it? Was this a dirty joke? Did I miss it? Because I want to laugh.
I said, I do know one thing. There is one person out there that I know does not carry their DD214 around with them.
I don't get it.
Well, I'll text you.
Yeah, I'll text you.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
The light bulb going on over your head was the best part of the joke.
I got it. Yeah. Guys, do you think he watches the show? Do you think he like follows us?
Oh, yeah.
or whatever?
Oh,
He
yeah.
does?
Oh, yeah. Guaranteed.
Oh, whoa. Hey, Happy New Year.
You know what he doesn't have?
All right, you guys. I'm going to finish up my TikTok live. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Happy New
We
Year.
love you more.
Yeah, I know. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Tinnitus.
It's tinnitus. Dude, that was a beautiful one-liner. That was amazing, dude. Your delivery was on point. Nobody saw it coming. You're wasting your time teaching jujitsu. You should be doing stand-up comedy with one punchline for everything.
I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy. We were just talking about this because you didn't realize how ridiculous of a big fan of comedy I am. I love comedy. It's part of my mental health. Laughter is healthy for your brain.
I agree.
So I literally just
you just cured my
I
mental
listen
health.
to comedy on the radio. I love it. It's great. I can't just sit there and write out a 10-minute bit. I mean, but,
look at the guy.
I got some stuff. All right.
All right, folks, before we cut you loose, January. No, I'm not at all. That's awesome. All right. So it's a serious thing here, folks. I apologize. I'm all right. We work very hard on the show. We want to remember those that have come before us. We want to remember those that have been lost, that we worked with, that raised their right hand, stepped forward, and threw themselves into the breach. On January 8th of 2004, the 571st Medical Company lost 4 soldiers, and they are never forgotten. Rest in peace. Please keep in your thoughts this week and your hearts and your minds. Remember Sergeant Michael Diramondo. Remember my friend Sergeant Christopher Golby. Remember my friend CW2 Philip Johnson and my friends CW2 Ian Manuel. For those that don't know, Ian Manuel would play checkers with me and chess with my crew chief at the exact same time, and he would just spin in his chair and beat both of us at the same time. He was an amazing individual, and so he's a loss to our nation's security with him being gone. So please remember the crew of the 571st Medevac. So yeah, we're out of here, dude. You done? You got any more one-liners? It was really hard to recompose myself for that.
To say, he said, you know what he doesn't have? And we share screaming jokes. But you know what else he doesn't have?
A purple heart.
Purple fucking heart. Thanks for joining us tonight on About Face Radio.
Oh my God.
Show. We will see you guys next week, 1800 hours Mountain Standard Time.
Good night, folks.